We've talked a lot about Chase Young as a player. What is your read on kind of him as a young man, as a person, and kind of as he's maturing and getting older? What is your read on Chase as a person?
I think the thing that I really appreciate about who Chase is he's a very driven young man. He wants to succeed. He wants to do things the right way. He's he's got some really good core values. He's very family oriented. He's a guy that really appreciated people doing things the right way. He cheers for his team. I mean, it doesn't matter who's out there, he's cheering for him. And I don't know if you noticed, but when he's not in, he doesn't necessarily always stand by the defense. He goes over to the offensive guys and interacts. There's a leadership quality to him that I really appreciate.
Jeremy Reeves got some time late last season. Looks like he's getting a good bit of work out there. What have you seen from him so far?
The thing that I appreciate about Jeremy is he just does his job. He works hard, and it's a true appreciation. Last year he was one of the guys that truly impressed me during training camp. And when we had to cut down, he was one of the guys that was on the bubble. And, initially he didn't make it. We had him on practice squad, but I told him if he keeps working the way he is, he'll get a chance, and he did. And I appreciate that, and I appreciate the effort he's given us right now. He really is.
Antonio Gibson, he said in mini camp that he had some lingering issues with his toe. Is he full go now? What have you seen just from?
Yeah, Jeremy looks full go.
No, Antonio Gibson.
Oh, Antonio Gibson, AG, yes. He looks good. He really does. He came in solid. His conditioning test looked really good. He really did. It looks like he's past those effects right now. Now, again, you never know because of turf toe is one of those things. But he looked good. I'm really pleased with where he is right now. He's solid, and just expect him to continue to grow and take another step.
Going back to Chase for a minute, when you talk about like the things about him doing, going over and interacting with the offense and all that, it seems kind of basic, but you don't always see that. So how unusual is that for a guy at his level to be doing those kind of things?
Not just his level, but his years in the league.
And that's what I meant here, experience.
Yeah, and John, I think that's that's an exception. But what it does is it shows the other guys too that, hey man, we're here, we're behind you. Because sometimes it does get fractionalized out there. There's a little bit of separation. It's offense against defense. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure everybody understands that we're not on our schedule. So we're all pulling in the same direction. And I think that's the message. Really is about hey, we're all team, we're all together. I think that's really one of the cool things about what he does.
And you obviously haven't coached Landon Collins in a game, but just seeing him out here, what does he add that maybe either, I don't know if it surprises you or that you've taken notice of?
Well, I do know from having watched him last year that there's a physicality he brings. There's that physical presence. He is a playmaker of sorts because he plays downhill. He's got the right type of temperament that you want from your defensive players.
How have you seen the way that Ryan Fitzpatrick has kind of embraced this competition and just having to fight for the starting job?
Nothing seems to faze him. We were rolling Kyle. We were rolling Taylor in today, and nothing seems to faze him. He just goes out and does his job. He doesn't look over his shoulder, and I think that's a confident player. And I think guys can learn from that. Don't worry about what's going on over here. Worry about yourself. Worry about doing your job. Worry about things that that are going to help you. I mean, again, in his mind, what's important versus what's interesting. I think I love that about him. And he's a guy also that's he's communicating, he's helping, he's working with everybody. That is cool. I mean, that's the type of stuff that helps your football team.
Hey, Ron, this might be a little bit of a basic question, but I wonder, what are some of the things that you think are key for Chase to take that next step this year?
I think continue to understand and develop his sense for what his job is, but what everybody else is doing. It's important to understand, what's going on with coverage. Why? Because the coverage is going to impact it. If it's man coverage, you're going to get a little bit more time. If it's zone coverage, you might not get as much time in your pass rush. What's it mean when they overload a side, when they overload to you with two tight ends, what are they trying to accomplish? Are they trying to widen you and create that extra step in the pass rush? So I think that's the thing that's going to help him by looking at what's, how people are trying to attack him, and look at the whole scope of what we're trying to do on defense. What's the 3 technique doing next to you, okay? What happens when you've got the one on your side? Those types of things. It'll help advance the way he plays because he's more aware of what's going on around him too.
And what will you see from him on the field versus man or zone that allows you to know, okay, he's getting that, he's processing that? What are you looking for?
By the way he does things, again, if it's 3rd and long and he knows we're in man, he knows the quarterback's going to have to hold the ball a little bit, so he's got an opportunity to set something up. If it's 3rd and long and we're in zone, the quarterback's going to probably 3rd and short and we're in zone, the quarterback's going to probably try and throw the ball a little bit quicker, so he's got to understand, I don't have time to set it up. I've got to penetrate, I got to get vertical, I got to get into the guy's throwing lane, I got to get into his vision, that type of stuff. That's when you'll know. When you don't see these, 3rd and shorts and he's running these, and he's running this up and under, and he's selling it all the way outside, and the quarterback's taking a 3-step. That's when you know he sees what's happening in the game.
Hey, Ron, you've talked about this quarterback competition, and Fitzpatrick and Heineke are the 2 you identified back when we were back in Ashburn. Kyle Allen in the past is somebody you have praised, and obviously he started games for you. Why isn't, I guess, he ultimately part of the competition right now? Is it just recovering from the injury, or just where
Well, I think as he recovers and starts to do more and more things, you'll see him be part of it. But right now, those are the 2 that I've identified as the guys that we got to keep an extra eye on. I'm not, selling Kyle down the river. I think he still has an opportunity to help us, whether it's immediately or in the future. But we'll see. Again, it's about being healthy. It's about getting back out there, doing the things that you're capable of. He'll get opportunities to practice with our groups. He'll get an opportunity to play with our groups. We're going to try and get as many reps for people as we get into to playing the games in the preseason. We only have 3. We got to be judicious, though. We got to make decisions quickly.
And as far as Heineke goes, we talked yesterday about guys like retention from practice a few weeks ago. What have you seen from him, his progress? What are things that are kind of standing out about him?
Again, he came in and he's thrown the ball well. He threw the ball well during OTAs and minicamp. He picked up right where he left off. He has a good understanding of our offense because he's been in it before too as well. So he's a guy that's going to create the competition that we're looking at, and he's going to push Ryan. And we'll see how everything goes and unfolds as we get further down into camp.
The battles between Terry and William Jackson have been pretty fun so far. What do you make of those, and how can those 2 specifically make each other better?
Oh, just by the competition itself. Again, Terry goes against typically a lot of times some of the best. And when you're competing against one of the best in the league in practice every day, it's going to make you just inherently, because that's who you're competing against. So Terry knows to win, I've got to be at my best. I've got to run my routes very precise. I've got to be able to set up my moves. And on the inverse, what you're seeing from William on the other side is, again, I've got to focus in. I've got to anticipate. I've got to understand my leverage. I got to know where my help is. I got to know when I have help. I got to anticipate down and distance. So those are things that are honing each other's skills as we go through this.
Hey there, talking to Terry yesterday, he was talking about Fitz, and he said that he empowers everyone on the field, and then I think his exact words were, he's not a big rah-rah guy, but he's still our greatest leader. What kind of leader is he, and what have you seen from him in just these last 2 days?
I think there's a real good professionalism about him and almost an anticipation. He is not a rah-rah guy. He'll get fired up and he'll show it, but what he will do is he will talk to the guys very direct, very forward. He makes eye contact when he's helping young guys out, when he wants to make a point. And that, I think, is a different type of leadership that's out there. Some guys will get on guys. Sometimes guys will go the next step in terms of, hey, you got to get after it. You got to do this right. You got to do it. And I haven't seen that yet. And we may see it, we may not. But right now, his leadership style more is about, hey, follow me, and just listen to me. And that's been good for some of our young guys, because I've been around when guys have gotten on younger players, and it creates a little bit of animosity. He's there to help, and he's been really good about that.
I was just hoping you could kind of clarify what you were saying about the quarterbacks and the competition there. are you saying Ryan and Taylor are competing for basically the starting job, and Kyle might join that competition at some point? Or okay.
At some point. I mean,
Okay.
again, we'll see how things play out. We got a good group of guys. I like the guys. I truly do. And we'll see how it happens. We got a young guy in Steven Montez that we like as a developmental guy right now. We got him working on some special team stuff too, just in case. So we'll see. But it's a good group. We've got 2 clear-cut guys right now that have an opportunity. We have a 3rd guy that's shown us he can do it in this league.
Is there something you're looking for from Kyle to know that he's ready to?
Well, I think as he continues to get healthier and healthier, we'll get a chance to watch him do things more and more, and we'll assess from there.